What's up, everyone? It is episode 32, Half the Story podcast. I am your host, Andrew Munt. It is good to be back. I'm excited about this episode. There has been a little and a lot going on this past week, and I'm excited to announce the hotline and take a few calls this episode. So, some exciting stuff happening here at Half the Story podcast. Let's kind of get into it, though. Let's see, this past weekend, what did I do? We went to Chicago. Me and my wife went to Chicago. We saw Andrew Santino live, the Tito tour at the Chicago Theater. If you've never been to the Chicago Theater, it is it looks like a giant theater, but old timey kind of, and definitely gives you some John Wilkes Booth vibes, presidential assassination vibes. It gives you old theater vibes, which it is. I think it's 100 years old, exactly, almost. I think I looked it up while we were there. I think it was constructed in 1921. But anyway, there's a giant sign outside. You can't miss it if you drive by. It's Chicago Theater. Great show by Andrew Santino. Great time in Chicago. I'm developing my Wisconsin accent down in Kenosha. So, yeah, anytime you get a little south of Milwaukee, you get a little twang in your voice, a little Wisconsin, a little Kenosha, um, you know, accent. So I don't know why I did that, but yeah, we've adopted the accent. But yeah, Chicago was fun. Got some good food. Got some pasta. Got a hot beef sandwich where they dip it in the au jus, I think is what it's called. And yeah, it was good walking around Chicago. They're a little tight in Chicago with the COVID wovie, and so you got to show your vax cards everywhere you go. If you walk in to grab a donut, you got to show your vax. If you walk in to pet a cat or something like that, you got to show your vaccination card. And if you're going to a bar, you got to show your ID that you're 21 or older and your vax card. So they're still doing the vaccination card thing, which I respect. It doesn't bother me. I've got triple vaxxed out, so vaxxed out, got the booster and the cooster, so we're good. So yeah, Chicago was fun. Definitely want to go back. Kind of in and out. We stayed at a motel, and the difference between a motel and a hotel, traditionally speaking, is a motel is where you drive up and go into the motel, and your door's pretty much facing the street, and there can be people loitering. There could be doors that don't open to places that don't go anywhere. Bad shower curtains, things like that at a motel, which if you go to a hotel, then you usually drive to a hotel and park, and then you go up an elevator. So the biggest difference is motels pretty much 2 floors, but in a hotel are more than 2 floors if you want to get scientific. So yeah, motels traditionally cheaper. This one was free parking in downtown Chicago. That's why we got it. I was born in the Depression, so I'm cheap. But it was a nice hotel. It was called the Ohio House Hotel in Chicago, right next to a million restaurants, free parking, about $100 a night. So you can't really beat that. And the room was nice. Paper thin walls, but it was nice, very nice. Could hear everything around us in the alley and the other people's room next to us. Could hear every time someone's phone beeped. But other than that, it was a good experience. So shout out to the Ohio House Hotel in Chicago. If you like free parking, you can stay there. So we are here. Today is Tuesday. What is it? February 8th. Super Bowl is coming up this weekend. Super psyched for that. Not only is Super Bowl this weekend, but we get our leak fixed in our shower, so that's pretty exciting too. Anytime you're a homeowner and you get upgrades like that, it's kind of nice to be included with upgrades of a home, and our shower not leaking will be nice. So that's gonna be fixed on Saturday. Then the big day Sunday, the big Super Bowl. We're all excited about that. The Bengals and Joe Burrow versus the LA Rams, and it's in LA, so it's home. It's kind of a home field advantage for LA. But if you follow LA sports, a lot of the Lakers maybe are the exception, maybe the Dodgers, but a lot of the LA teams, LA is so transient, or there's so many people from, no one's from LA, so to say. There, I don't even know how many millions of people are living there, but the city is so transient. There's people coming, there's people going. It's hard for the local teams to get fans and things like that. So if you watched the game last week or 2 weeks ago with the Rams and the 49ers, half the stadium was Rams fans, half the 49ers fans. So it's going to be like that in Las Vegas too, where these cities that are easily accessible now, you can fly into them. They're vacation destinations, nice weather. You're going to see a lot of the LA teams and Las Vegas teams, having some mixed crowds. So going to be half this, half that. So it'll be interesting to see at the Super Bowl, since it is a home game technically for LA, how many fans show out. And most of the time in the Super Bowl, like, tickets are so expensive that the real fans don't even go because, the ticket prices are so high. So it kind of, knocks the fans out, so to say, of actually going to the game. So it's just a lot of executives or people in suits or people who do, YouTube videos and stuff like that their company pays for them. So hopefully it's going to be a good game. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'd like to see the Bengals kind of, choke another one out and beat the Rams that have been underdogs in every game. So I'm rooting for them, rooting for Joe Burrow. It'd just be a cool story to see, someone win a Super Bowl that no one really thought of. It'd be a nice change of pace, is kind of what I'm saying. So yeah, excited to get going with the Super Bowl this weekend. So looking forward to that. We're going to another comedy show on Saturday here in Milwaukee with a couple of buddies, and so that's going to be exciting. Another weekend of a comedy show and house repairs and Super Bowl. It's a nice little Sunday. So a nice little Sunday. Maybe go to Home Depot, if you know what I mean. Get a couple things for, be a good little Sunday. So excited about that. We had a good weekend this past weekend in Chicago. Super Bowl's this weekend. Yeah, a lot to look forward to. Gonna make some good food and enjoy a good game, hopefully. So what else has been new? So I went to a doctor recently, and ear, nose, and throat doctor. So an ENT. ENT, not to be confused with NFT, non-fungible tokens. But I went to an ENT, ear, nose, and throat doctor, because for the longest time I kind of, for lack of a better and scientific term, I'm kind of like a mouth breather, and I've been having trouble breathing through my nose. So I was like, let's go get this checked out. Let's see what the doc says, and see if we can't open up one of these nostrils, get some airflow going through there. So I get the referral to see the specialist, and I go see the specialist, and she's kind of awkward. I don't know what her deal was, but she was kind of awkward with me. And so she starts by kind of looking through my ears, which aren't the problem. Looking like in my tear ducts and stuff like that, it's not the problem. Then she looks like through my nose with the little light thing, and she's like, okay, yeah, it looks a little swollen. Like, do you have allergies? So we talked about allergies, things like that. And she's like, oh, take this rinse and just squirt it up your nose like really quick. So I squirted the rinse up my noses, both noses, and she's like, all right, now let's just wait a couple minutes. The stuff is like, hopefully get the swelling down a little bit. I'm going to stop the swelling. We got to stop the swelling before, it blows up. And so we rinsed it out, and then she's like, all right, I'm gonna take this little like coat hanger. I mean, it was like smaller than a coat hanger, one of those metal ones that you kind of see. It was smaller than that. She's like, all right, I'm gonna get in there and like look around and see, if there's any structural damage, if there's any polyps, if there's any, anything kind of going on, mischievous up there in your nose. So she looks at the left nostril, tickles a little bit. She's like, okay. And then she goes in the right nostril. And mind you, this thing, the camera, I mean, it could probably go in a pee hole. That's how small it is. But yeah, it's like smaller than a coat hanger. And she like couldn't get it up into the right side of my nose. So she goes, it's too swollen for me to get in there. And I go, okay. So she's like, we're gonna give you this little spray nozzle, and I'm gonna have you take allergy pills and do this every day. So now I've got kind of a whole nasal routine that I need to start doing every day. So hopefully, we get some better answers, we get some better technology coming out, and the rinses I use for my nose and the little nozzle sprays and everything works out better. So yeah, let me know if I sound a little less nasally. I've been kind of breathing out of my mouth since I can remember, so it's probably going to be a hard habit to break, but I can breathe out of both noses right now. So yeah, I'm excited to start my nasal routine. I mean, I've already started it, but looking forward to the future of, deep breaths and a lot of good air coming through there. So if you hear a bark, that is Walter. He does like to bark. So yeah, what else? We started to get into a bowling league last week. Was our first week bowling, and I've never been in any competitive situations in bowling, but I have bowled before. And bowling, if you were to try to explain it to someone that had never seen it, you're throwing a rock at like legs of a desk and trying to knock them over. So we did bowling on Wednesday night, which was fun, and we're going to be doing bowling every Wednesday. And I was pretty sore. My back glutes were sore from bowling the next day. My wrist was kind of sore. It takes a lot out of you. You never thought, bowling was a sport until you got older. And I'm not even that old, so got to definitely warm up and stretch next time before the bowling. And the funniest thing about bowling is when you go to the bowling alley and there's the TVs up there with your scores and all the players' names, which you like put funny names and stuff on there too. Then you got the scores and stuff. So then if someone rolls or bowls and they get a spare or they get a strike or they get a gutter ball, or even if they hit 6 out of 8 pins, or 6 out of 10 pins, the monitor after you go like shows a little clip of something. And it's just really, if next time you go to the bowling alley, just kind of sit there, and because that's kind of half of the fun of actually going bowling is watching the monitor's reaction to your bowl. So yeah, you bowl, and then the TV gives you like either a hype video or like not a hype video, depending on how you bowled. So like, for example, you bowl a strike, the video pops up, it's like a kid doing jump rope blindfolded, and it's like, good job, you made a strike. If you bowl and it's like you hit 7 pins, like it'll show like a video, and these videos are like from the 80s. They haven't updated them since I think bowling was invented, probably. Like who where do they get these videos? But yeah, you could bowl like a 7, and then it would be like a drain into a sewer, and like the sludge is like 7 pins. And it's like, what? Like, what does that even mean? And then the next one, you'll bowl like a spare, and it'll be a guy on a dirt bike wiping out, and he'll be like, spare. Like, who even came up with all these bowling alley videos? And like, who, like, we could update them too eventually. Oh, there was another one too. I don't even know what it was, but you would hit a couple pins or something like that, and it showed a clip from America's Funniest Home Videos with Bob Saget. So I don't know what that means, but that's half the fun of bowling, is just watching the videos. Um, and they're kind of like the Atari, the Atari video games, the digital, what would it be like? The digital animation of the Atari video games. That's kind of like the videos they use for bowling. So it's not updated. Like I said, it hasn't been updated since bowling even was invented, I think. But yeah, next time you go bowling, definitely check out uh, when you do a good bowl or a bad bowl, or you hit the gutter or something like that. Just look up and see what you see on the screen, because sometimes it's just a little crazy, to be honest. Like, where do they get these things? Yeah, so started the bowling league, exciting about that. Hopefully have some stuff to talk about that. Strike, spares, and hopefully no gutter balls. There's no rails on, or gutter guards, or whatever they're called. Yeah, there's none of that in this league. This is pretty much professionals playing amateurs, and we're the amateurs. So yeah, we'll let you know how the bowling league goes this week. And yeah, we'll kind of see how that goes. I got into some of my old textbooks the other day, so I was finally able to bring back like all my college textbooks, because right after I graduated from Allen with my degree in OT, we moved across the country, and I only brought a couple of my textbooks. I was like, oh shoot, I only have, I've got 30 textbooks to transport, but I'm not going to use all these friggin' textbooks. So I'll put them in a Tupperware and leave them at my mom's. So I finally got all my textbooks back from college, or my OT college, and trying to like sell them or something like that, but I don't think they're really worth that much money. And I was thinking, like, remember when you were, I mean, we were kids pretty much, but in college, like 18, 19, 20, 22, 21, you would go to class in the semester, you get like your student loan check, and you'd buy your textbooks, and you'd like pay for tuition, if you were poor, and then, or your parents would pay for it. And then at the end of the semester, you would you'd be like, this is for like general ed classes. So like, you were like, oh, I'm never going to use this textbook again. So you would buy your textbooks in the spring, or at the start of the year. At the end, you'd be like, oh yeah, got like 6 textbooks to take back. Like, I know this world studies one is like worth at least $35, even though I paid $600 for it. We're going to freaking Great Wall tonight. We're going to Mojo's. We're going to Great Wall. At the end of the semester, it was like, I was excited for finals week, because I knew I got to trade in my books, which means I got a little extra cash for finals week, the night after finals, you know what I'm saying, for that partying time, getting into the college hills, and going, like, and you'd be like, oh, I sold back my textbooks, let's do something nice for ourselves. Let's get, like, instead of getting Admiral Nelson, let's buy Captain Morgan. And honestly, that was like a great time in my life, those couple times that I got to sell back textbooks for money. So yeah, it's just funny how the little things in life kind of get you through the hard times, and that's no exception. So if you're in college and you got a couple textbooks, those bitches will be out of date in 2 months anyways. Sell them, take that money, and do something fun for yourself, because it's hard to make money when you're a college kid, a broke college kid. So yeah, it's just I got a bunch of textbooks that I'm not going to use, and I don't think they're worth a lot of money, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I think I'm going to try and donate them. I tried to sell them, but I don't think anybody's going to want to buy them. Books, by the time they're printed now, these textbooks, dang, some of these textbooks probably were written, or there's probably a textbook out now that was published this year, but was written before COVID, so it doesn't even have anything with COVID. So it's like, when are we going to ditch the textbooks and just use the internet? Because unless they can print books, every couple months, which probably not, it's going to be interesting to see where we go with the textbooks. And honestly, I would say 85% of the textbooks I bought throughout college, through my undergrad, through my Hawkeye, through my UNI, through my Allen, they just made my back stronger because I had to carry them, but they didn't make me, everything that you get in college is on a PowerPoint from your instructor. So the few times that you need your book, or the few classes that you actually use your book, I mean, could have saved a lot of money by not buying, those books. So, yeah, it's just, those are the good old days when you had to buy books, really expensive, and you got to sell them back really cheap, but you had a little bit of money to go out at the end of the semester, treat yourself. You earned it with those B's and C's in class. You earned that $30. But yeah, no, excited to introduce the hotline this episode. This episode, I've been trying a few things, so bear with me with the editing, bear with me with the audio. It's still a work in progress. I'm surprised I'm able even to do what I'm doing right now. I swear I'm just kind of a Shrek in terms of using computers. And I'm not like a boomer, but I'm pretty close to a boomer when it comes to using computers. So the hotline is up. It is active. You can call 24/7, 365, no charges, except for, if you're on a payphone, then you'll probably have to pay for it. But again, the number is 414-214-0372, and that'll send you directly to the hotline where you can leave a message. You got to keep it under 3 minutes though. So if you start to ramble, and it'll kick you off, it'll cut you off. So I'll try my best to get to every call. We got a few calls this week, so we're going to take a few now. And again, I want to preface by saying, bear with me if the audio sounds echoey, if it sounds choppy, if it sounds kind of like it was pieced together by a fifth grader. Just know that it most likely was. Okay. And this is the hotline. You can hit it at 414-214-0372. Let's take this first call. Here we go.
Hey, Andy. I was just calling. I was thinking about your next episode and your new hotline that you set up. I was just curious to see what kind of goals you had in mind with your podcast, whether it be 6 months or even a year from now. I was just curious what you had in mind for your goals, whether it's views or whatever it is. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I love watching your podcast. They're great to listen to and do some homework with. So keep going, man. Love watching them. Keep posting. Stay consistent. Thanks.
And that was a nice call. I appreciate that call. It's good to know that some people are listening. Goals for the episodes, or goals for the podcast, I should say. What goals do I have? I've thought a lot about this. I've thought, coming back, making the episode, what do I want my goals to be? And I think right now my goal is to just do an episode a week at least. Some weeks I may do more if I feel froggy. Some weeks I might, hopefully I'll do one episode a week. So that's my goal right now. I'm gonna kind of work on some editing, work on, I got the hotline up. Hopefully it runs kind of smooth. So right now those are my goals. I think about views, I think about subscribers, think about that kind of stuff. And, but I think for me right now, I just need to be consistent in getting on an episode and not worrying so much about who's subscribing, who's liking, those kind of things. Eventually, maybe we can tackle that and, doesn't hurt to get a few more subscribers, but I think I'm a ways away before I can even monetize this. But I think if I just be consistent with trying to get one episode out a week and kind of sharpen my skills with some editing and being just a better listen, taking constructive criticism and taking suggestions and just getting better at doing this, then hopefully after a while I'll look back and I'll have 100 episodes, 150 episodes, and it'll slowly grow organically. I think if I think about the views, if I think about who's watching or who's subscribing, then um, I'm probably doing it for the wrong reasons. So I think my goal right now is just to do one episode a week, and if I can do that and just kind of put my head down, I think I'll be happy with that for a while, and I'll tackle the rest when I get there. And hopefully, it just kind of slowly grows organically. It's hard to get people to tune into you when you're gone for 2 years. So part of that is me stubbing my toe, and I think if I would have been consistent the past, I started this podcast in 2018. If I would have put, an episode out a week since then, I would have been, up to 200 episodes. So I think I just need to be consistent and get one episode out a week and kind of let the chips fall where they may. So that's a good question. I appreciate the support. It's good to know someone's listening, even if only one person listens, even if I'm the only person that listens, I think I'll still be happy if I do it and I, do one episode a week, because it'll be fun to look back on. This is kind of a journal in a sense, so it'll be fun to look back on in 20 years or have my kids, watch the videos. If nothing else, that'll be worth it to me. So, thanks for the call, and hopefully you're enjoying the episodes. Let's take another call here.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I've got a question regarding OnlyFans. Is this, in this day and age, a legitimate way to make a living? Is this something that is pretty much par for the course where an individual can go onto OnlyFans, do any sort of sexual activity and get paid for it? Is this something that is acceptable now? Something that potentially you'd want your parents seeing? And the second part of my question would be, is it ethical for a group of individuals to pool their money and share an OnlyFans password? Thank you.
Good questions. Hot topic nowadays. OnlyFans. If you're not familiar with OnlyFans, it is pretty much the Wild West of Instagram. So OnlyFans is you can post anything and everything you want. It's a Facebook, it's an Instagram where you can show butthole, you can show, wieners, things like that. You can do any kind of illegal or legal sexual acts on video, on camera. And you can charge people to have access. So it would be like if I had my Instagram page and I charged you an access fee, so $5 a month, $10 a month, $25 a month to look at my pictures and look at my videos that I posted, that can be anywhere from feet pics, or it can be all the way down to what they would call, hardcore pornographic images. So, or videos too, even. So, um, is it a legitimate way to make money? Of course it is. Um, if I could make money on OnlyFans, if there was a market for me to make money on OnlyFans, would I do it? Depends on how much money I could make. Could I substitute that income for my working income and just sit at home all day, drinking coffee, taking nude pics, posting them on my OnlyFans? It would be tempting. You know, there's a lot of people making a lot of money on OnlyFans, and I support it because if you can make money dealing drugs, if you can make money as a stripper, if you can make money as a divorce lawyer, a defense lawyer, you can help people get out of jail who commit murder. Why can't you sell pictures of yourself to an audience that's willing to pay? So definitely think it is. Definitely think it's a great way to make money. The well may dry up for some people at some point, but yeah, if you can make money, do it. Who cares? Who gives a flying hoot on how you make your money, or how you decide to make your money? And I'm always a fan of making a quick buck, and I don't think there's any more better way right now, especially for women, to make a quick buck. I haven't been on OnlyFans, but I don't know how many men are on there. I have to kind of look that up, do some research, maybe see who the top earners are for men, because I wonder if there is a market. Because you really only hear about, excuse me, you only hear about like celebrities, or, there's famous people here or there, or, doing their OnlyFans and they're making a killing. So, supply and demand, oldest trick in the book there. If people want lemonade, build a lemon stand. If people want naked pictures of you, build an OnlyFans and make some money. Now, is it something that I want my parents to see? That's for my parents to decide. I mean, if they're willing to pay the $5 a month to see it, my first question would be, why would you want to be seeing my OnlyFans? Don't subscribe, to my OnlyFans if you're my parents, because you know what's on there. So, if my daughter 25 years from now had an OnlyFans, that's a different story. I don't know what I would think about that. But you can post pretty much naked photos on Instagram. You might as well just get paid for it though on OnlyFans. So, I think that answered all the questions there. Oh, the pooling the money. Yeah, pooling the money. I think that's fine. Is it unethical? I mean, we're talking about OnlyFans and everything. Is it unethical to pool your money to share an account? If it was unethical, let's just say, to pool your Netflix account or Hulu account or Disney Plus account, we're all going to hell necessarily, because everyone I know has an account from a cousin or an uncle or a friend from high school's parents. They got an account that they share with their buddies. So, I mean, we're all going to hell then if it's unethical to share passwords and things like that. So, I think nowadays, especially with inflation, going up and stuff like that, it could be a thing where if you chip in a few dollars here and there, you guys can probably afford some OnlyFans accounts, and um, in the end, you're still supporting them. So do with it as you may. So I should say. I wonder, like, if you sign up for an OnlyFans account, they gotta be able to see like Andy subscribe to you, or Andy subscribe to this person. Like, so like, if you have an OnlyFans account, which I'd be interested in talking to someone who does, like, is there like a weird like thing where I say like I work in an office and I have an OnlyFans account? is it weird if my like next door cubby or cubicle person like subscribes to my OnlyFans? Because yeah, it's weird, but you have the OnlyFans, and I'm just trying to support you. But yeah, it's also kind of creepy because like we work together, then it kind of gets weird like around the office and things like that. So it just comes to like a whole thing of like work life, not balance, but that would be kind of interesting to talk about someone that did have an OnlyFans. So if you do have an OnlyFans, please call in and let me know on how. Yeah, hit the hotline 414-214-0372. If you have an OnlyFans, hit the hotline. Let me know if you've had any like coworkers or like teachers or anything like that subscribe to your OnlyFans, and how that made you feel, or like what's kind of the etiquette on that, and what do you think about pooling money together? Because if they're going to support you, they'll support you. If not, then they won't. So good question there. A lot of interesting routes to take on that. If you have any thoughts or any questions about OnlyFans, or what would you do, or what would your daughter, would you let your daughter or son, or what would you do if you found him on that? Let me know what you think. Call the hotline 414-214-0372. Let's get to the next call here.
Hey, Andy. Quick topic for conversation. If your dog, Walter, wakes up tomorrow morning weighing like 225 pounds, do you think you could beat him in a wrestling match? Or would his dog-like spasminess be too much for you to overcome?
So if you're not aware, Walter is a pug. I don't know if he's pure, but he's pure of heart, and he's got the heart of a lion. And if he was 220 pounds, there's no way that I could fight him and survive. I mean, he's losing teeth, a lot of teeth. He's losing a lot of teeth, so his bite might not be as ferocious as it once was. But that Walter is a pug, and he's like 95 percentile, and I mean he could be an NFL linebacker, he could be a power forward, he could be on a bobsled team, he could do those things if he was human. That's kind of his build, heavyweight boxer, something like that. So he's pushing right now about 35 pounds, probably 18% body fat, and he's already kind of a handful if he starts spasming. So if you add another 100, even 100 pounds onto him, you ever try walking, a golden retriever, 100-pound golden retriever, if they try and pull the leash on you, I mean, they'll knock you over, And right now, Walt, at 38 pounds or 35 pounds or whatever he is, probably 38, he could definitely knock over a senior citizen easily. If he jumps up on someone's walker, he'll tip him over, because if he runs, I don't know what the equation is for inertia, but if you put that weight going, 18 miles an hour, which is his top speed, and if he jumps and hits a senior citizen, they would fall. So I'm only 50 years away from being a senior citizen. So if you added 200 pounds onto him, there's no way I could fight him. He would definitely beat me if there was a time limit, like rounds, like if it's a 3-minute round, he could beat me. But I think if we went 5-minute rounds, I think maybe my endurance would prevail, because he gets tired and then he wants to drink water like pretty quick. So if I could just kind of make him work, push him up against the fence, do some underhooks, things like that, maybe I could get him tired and choke him out. But when he spazzes, even now, he's a handful. So good question. I like animal questions too, because people think it's hypothetical, but that could be a real thing coming up too. So right now, probably not. I could probably not beat him if he really wanted to beat me at 220 pounds. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's take another call here.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I was just calling. I had a question for you. Generally, I like to eat bananas, high potassium, stuff like that, as like an after workout fruit, or even just during the day. And I tend to eat them around a bunch of other guys, some of my friends. My question for you is should I look these other fellas in the eye while I'm eating a banana, or should I look off somewhere else? Thanks.
And bananas are good sources of potassium. So you are correct. So are avocados. So, if the banana thing's getting a little tricky, too many guys are winking at you, anything like that, you could try, slicing open an avocado. And my first question would be, are you on your knees when you eat the banana? Because if you are, I would stand up or sit down. But don't eat a banana on your knees would be my first, that just comes to mind. Don't do that. And then secondly, you could get yourself one of those banana cutters. And you can usually find them at Williams-Sonoma or Crate and Barrel or any expensive kitchen supply store. And they're pretty much just like a giant outline of a banana. So you'd place your banana down on a surface, clean surface, and you kind of press your banana down and it'd cut it for you. So that way you could use a toothpick, you could use a fork. It would be kind of less promiscuous in that setting. If that's kind of out of your budget, then you could think about just cutting the banana in half or bites or mashing it. But yeah, definitely don't look them in the eye. But I think if you do want to look them in the eye, it's it's getting more culturally acceptable to do that. So just kind of, feel the temperature of the room, or, ask, bring a, what is it called? A bunch, not like a bunch of bananas, but like a bunch of bananas, and, give them to your friends, and we can all eat bananas together. And, have a good laugh about that. But yeah, try the banana cutter. Try, standing up or sitting down. Don't lay down and do it because that's a choking hazard in itself. But potassium, you can take other supplements besides bananas. You can eat avocados. Probably spinach probably has potassium in it. So hopefully that kind of answers your question and gives you a little bit of insight into the problems with the bananas. So let's get to the next call here. Got a couple more for you.
What's up, half the story? This is Clay, aka Big Daddy, aka Big Daddy's Meat Wagon, aka Claybo 101. Past few years of your life have been kind of just a series of crazy events. I'm wondering if there was like a moment where you kind of had a leap of faith moment, and kind of what that was and how that has kind of steered the direction of your life now. And if, looking back, there's things that you would change or suggestions you have for people also kind of, taking, said leap of faith, whether it was moving to Portland or going back to school, kind of what that was and how it's affected you. Love the podcast. Keep it up. Love you.
Thank you, Big Daddy. And that's Big Daddy Meats here in Milwaukee. He is a aspiring restaurateur of meats, all kind of smoked meats and smoked delicacies. So thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Taking a leap of faith, and I kind of talk about this a lot of times, and like moving and going back to school and doing whatever you're trying to do. If you some of the best advice I've heard is if you're already thinking about it, you already know the answer. So like if I'm already thinking about moving from Milwaukee or moving, even before we got to Portland, I was already thinking about, moving back to the Midwest or moving, this or there. If you have a thought, if you're already thinking about something, the door is already open. Your foot's in the door, there's light coming through, you can see the other side. So that's some of the best advice I've ever heard is if you're thinking about it, you already know the answer. Um, and taking a leap of faith, um, that's kind of like, I always feel like there's still another leap to take no matter what. Like, I don't, the word's not happy, but I don't feel um, I don't feel yet like I can be like, oh, I'm gonna be here forever, or I'm happy with doing this for like a while. Like, I haven't gotten to that point in my life where um, I'm okay with where I'm at in life, whether it be financial, location wise or whatever. And that's not a knock on where I'm at now. It's just like I look at people and they're like, oh yeah, they're living here, they go to work and they do this and that, and they're happy and stuff like that. I'm like, I kind of wonder like where, if like when that's gonna hit me, if that makes sense. Like, and I'm not saying I'm depressed or anything like that or anything. Like, I'm just like, I feel like I have more stuff to do, if that makes sense. I feel like I talked about it on an episode a while back. I feel like I still have another mountain to climb, but trying to figure out what it is. And if you still feel like there's something in your life that is missing, then you already know the answer. So that would be my advice: is taking the leap. It's easy for me to say, but you can always come back. You can always start over. You can always, yeah, nothing is as crazy as it seems. If you move, if you start a new job, who gives a hoot? You're going to make money no matter where you are. You may make less, you may make more. You may have more friends here. You may have more things to do outside. You may have better restaurants here. You may have this there. One thing kind of I'm learning is that it's hard to kind of get it all. And I think that's kind of the sucky part of it is you want it all. You want, the perfect job. You want the perfect social life. You want the perfect, situation with everything. And it's hard to get it all. And maybe that's kind of what I'm still looking for. And what me and Christy are looking for is like, what's the perfect balance of everything in our lives? Um, Not to make us happy, but to make like where you can just be like Thanos in Avengers, where he's just like after he flicks his does his thing and he's sitting like in the wheat fields and he's just like chilling, and he's like, yeah, I did it, like that. I'm still looking for that, so I don't know what that is, but I think doing staying in one place doing the same thing for years on years end is not it. So I'm looking for the next leap of faith for me, and I think me and Christy are looking for what's next for us already. I don't know if we want to be in Milwaukee long term. We'll see though. So whether it's taking the leap of faith, if you already know, if you're already thinking about it, you already know. They say if you're already thinking about retiring, you might as well retire. We're not of that age yet, but yeah, just I don't know if I answered the question. I kind of rambled, but yeah, it's never too late. Who gives a hoot? You can always make money everywhere. The money you're making now, um, it's not life-changing money, so to say, unless it is, that it's like somewhere that you can't be without. So yeah, do whatever you want and let me know what you think. I don't know if I answer your question or anything like that, but yeah, just always be thinking ahead of what's the next steps, okay, now what do we have to do? What's the next mountain we got to climb? And what's the steps I got to do to get there? Do I want to think I got a 2-year plan, I got a 1-year plan, I got a 5-year plan? And we're still young enough that we can do that. So thanks for calling, Big Daddy. Look forward to some of that smoked meat on the Super Bowl. So let's take one more call and then we'll get out of here. Okay, here we go.
Hello, long time listener, first time caller here. Big fan of yours. This is Christy Muntz. I am hitting Hotline today to kind of get your thoughts on the Portland Trailblazers. We're going to the game on Monday, and the NBA trade deadline is coming up this Thursday. I just wanted to see what you think is going to happen with their roster. They've already made a couple of pretty big changes, and I'm just curious on what you think this team is going to look like, if they're kind of just rebuilding around Lillard, or if Lillard's going to leave. They're going to keep CJ, get rid of him. If Nurk is going to stick around, if he's going to stay. A couple of our favorite players, mine at least, I don't know, I really liked their roster when we were living there in Portland. They had a pretty solid team, and it was fun to watch them play. Just wanted to see what you think is going to happen. I'll talk to you later. Love ya.
And that was my wife. Beautiful, beautiful Christy Munt. So definitely she stayed up probably watching NBA tonight for about 2 hours, or, listening to TNT with Charles Barkley to ask this question. She did her research. I'll give her that. So the Portland Trailblazers, the home team, our first team, my first team that I ever felt like I had a home team with. Because growing up in Iowa, we didn't have no home teams. But moving to Portland, love basketball, and that was our first team. So shout out to the Blazers. Fun fact about me, actually related to Blazer great Zach Randolph, who is my cousin's baby's mama's brother on my dad's side. So so my roots go back a long time to the Portland Trailblazers, and I think the Trailblazers right now are a disaster. They traded away a couple good players this past week, Norman Powell and Robert Covington, and got back, a used washing machine. So they're blowing it up. I don't think anybody in the front office knows what they're doing with the team. They've got Damian Lillard, who's injured and aging, and he's going to be very expensive. I think they need to trade him, even though he doesn't want to trade. But I think I saw a tweet out or something out that he said something along the lines of the captain's got to sink with the ship. So that's not good when your star player is, the band's playing on the Titanic, and, the sink is shipping. The ship is sinking. So I definitely think they need to trade CJ and trade Dame, get them the hell out of there, and just kind of start over. Hopefully get a couple young players, get a couple picks maybe. But, I don't know why Dame doesn't want to get traded. He could get traded, in a heartbeat if he just says he wants to get traded, and he could go somewhere and be a factor, because I honestly don't see the Trailblazers being much of a factor for the next 3 to 5 years, unless they would get a very good player to play alongside Damian Lillard, which is going to be tough. So I'd blow it up and kind of start over if I was them. It's not a good situation. And their team a few years ago was good, and NBA teams, they'll strike lightning every few years. You'll have a couple of surprises here and there. They'll make the Western Conference Finals and they'll get bounced. And, a lot of that has to do with, where they were in the playoffs. Were they healthy? Other teams weren't healthy. The matchups, who catches fire. So I'm usually optimistic about this, but I don't think they'll be very good the next few years unless they get another star with Dame. So shout out to you with the NBA question. But we are seeing the Trailblazers in Milwaukee here next week on Valentine's Day for our Valentine's Day treat. So it'll be fun to see the Blazers and Bucks play. Well, thank you guys for hitting the hotline. I really appreciate it. We had some good calls, some fun calls, silly calls, serious calls. If you have any reaction or any other questions that I didn't answer, give the hotline a call, 414-214-0372. You can call it anytime you want. If you have any thoughts, questions, opinions, or just want to say hi, tell me how you're doing in life, what's going good, what's going bad. So would love to hear from you, and hopefully the audio sounds okay. It's a work in progress, and this episode is a work in progress too. So I appreciate all the love. If you haven't already, you can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, what else? iHeart Radio, Soundcloud, YouTube. If you would subscribe to the channels, to the podcast. If you could give a thumbs up, if you could give a review even, that would be great. I'll take any and all feedback. But other than that, guys, I look forward to talking to y'all after the Super Bowl, and then we'll recap the Super Bowl next week, and hopefully take a few more calls. So other than that, you guys take care, and have a good Super Bowl Sunday. Go Bengals.